Hi, cuties. I'll be back in just a sec. I was about to start, but I need to go grab my water tumbler. Right back. Okay, fully equipped with water tumbler. So hydration, which is key. Stay hydrated out there, cuties. We are ready to embark. And by embark, I mean most of today's stream, I'm pretty much going to focus on grinding and leveling up. Because we went to that mountain dungeon last stream, well, last time I did Final Fantasy V, and got completely whacked by the random enemies in there. Not completely, it wasn't that bad. But I did get smacked around a fair bit. I wanted to level everybody, but I feel like I'm behind, especially on my job classes. Shit, I forgot I have that stupid dancing knife. I need to unequip that. Ah! I hope that wasn't too loud. My mic kind of fell down there. Era? Why are you Suna all the way down there? Unfrog yourself. Yeah, I hope everybody is having a lovely and wonderful Sunday evening. I was actually off work from job today, so I've mostly been chilling. Kinda tried to make myself have a nice little fun day of it. I took a little nap, played some Pokemon ZA. Still working through the DLC. And I ordered myself a pizza because I had a coupon, so I got like pizza and some bread bites for like $5. Well. I'm always like, oh, I'm gonna eat better so I can lose weight, and then it's just like, free pizza? I'm such a pizza whore. You put, you take a bread, and you put cheese on it, and it's just like, That's all. I'm done for. I will cheese my bread. Okay, let's go ahead and unequip that dancing dagger from Bards. I'm too enamored by the stat buffs. I've got to stop looking at the numbers. Okay, let's just give him the Ancient Sword. It'll be okay. I don't know. I never feel like I quite have the right job class lineup. Like, I know I've seen stuff online, and I've seen, like, bits and pieces of speedruns and stuff, and I know it's possible to just break this game wide-ass open. It's honestly the same problem I used to have, like, with a lot of Pokemon playthroughs, too. Is I always feel like, the more open-ended that, like, a game's customization system is, the more I feel like I'm just doing it wrong. And that's definitely a me problem. That's not a the game problem. And again, I do wonder, like, you know, not to make everything about, like, mental health and stuff, but I do wonder if, like, the neurodivergency leans into it. Not because it makes me do things quotation marks wrong, but it's just like, you know, I just don't do things the way that a lot of other people do, so it kind of like, I'm always eternally having the mentality that I'm doing things wrong. Especially with how many things, you know, like how many secret things there are in, I guess, neurotypical culture that you're just supposed to, like, intuit or just supposed to understand that aren't directly told. That a lot of times I just don't get because my brain just doesn't work that way. I can walk down there to Quelled anytime and heal, so I need to just go ham with the spells and stuff, since I don't have to worry about conserving MP. That's another thing. That's like an old, like, video game playthrough thing that I have a problem with. Is that, like, I get, like, super stuck on the idea that I always have to, like, minimize my MP. Don't use your spells. Don't use your items. And it's just, like, it's kind of something I have to get myself out of the mentality of. Because, like, I mean, heck, when you get games like okay, Persona's a really good example. With Persona, like, especially with 4 and 5, and to an extent the original version of 3. Because with 3, you know, it has, like, the condition system and stuff like that. But with 4 and 5, they took that out. But the thing is, like, with Persona, dealing with the random battle enemies is exponentially easier if you have, you know, you use, like, their elemental weaknesses and do an all-out attack. Where with, and, you know, you need your SP to be able to use your spells. What the fuck? You need your SP to be able to use your spells and stuff. Oh, great. Zombie frog. The Zog. Good, my brain just flatlined. Zombient? Yeah, you better run. You know what? Fuck you, Comet. Comet, it tastes like Listerine. Nobody's gonna get that reference. I'm a Forg! Ah! I'm an unconscious Forg. Seepin, what's up? How are you doing today on this lovely Sunday afternoon? Hi, Rain. How are you doing today? Yeah, I invoked your name and you appeared. Not really joking. I actually did forget to get my water tumbler when I started the stream, and then I put the game on pause. And I'm like, I'm gonna go get my water tumbler, or else Rain's just going to show up and like, destroy me out of nowhere. Like, you're not properly hydrated sense would tingle. This Titan's gonna have an attack on you! Very tired, I understand. Christmas is the season to be tired. But I do hope you guys have been having a pretty good day nonetheless. Spin and pump your arm in the air. Oh yeah, I need to un-zombie bards, huh? Why am I doing it like that? But yeah, this stream, as the title implies, is mostly going to be grinding. Gonna kind of be grinding it because, like, at the end of the last stream, we went to the dungeon here, Drakenvale, and the random battle enemies were kind of beating my ass. But shock them with a bio. Okay, not those specific random battle enemies. But in general, a lot of the random battle enemies here, like the dragon zombie and stuff, are kind of beating my ass. So I decided I'm gonna grind up and try to maybe find a layout of job classes that make things a little easier. I don't know if easier is the right word, but a layout of job classes that's a little more adapted to the actual challenges I'm facing. Okay, let's let Bartz get his next level up in Blue Mage, because he's so close. So, are you guys been working, or have you guys just been, like, having your time off for, Santa Claus season? Because, of course, like, I'm off today, but the only day I have off this week, this upcoming week, is Christmas. Of course. do I get like a little half day on like Christmas Eve or something? No. Blue. You know, one thing I do miss that's in the Pixel remasters is that with the Pixel remasters, you can press like the square button to have your characters like auto battle. Let me check something real quick. Is my stream working? Is everything going alright? You've been playing with rain. But yeah, hella busy time. Okay. It's weird because, like, chat just stopped showing up on my screen for a second there. That's... okay. Whatever, Twitch. Just be that way. What have you guys been playing? Risk of Rain, I would wager? Been working since last Thursday and don't get to do for Christmas. Ugh. Yeah, risking rain out there. Yeah, I feel like unless you have, like, a state job or something, or something, like, really cushy, then I feel like just about everybody is like, your one day off for Christmas is Christmas. Then again, a lot of people who do have the state jobs, because, like, my mom was a teacher, you know, like, she would get several weeks off for Christmas, but it was always, like, she didn't get paid for those days off. Like, they weren't paid vacation days. like they really weren't days off. They're just like, you don't come to work today. I don't know if that makes sense. So, like, I guess say it wasn't vacation. She just had all those days off. Hi, Maddie. Finishing up baking cookies. Should be done in about 45 minutes. Be here by then. See you soon. Cool. Thank you for dropping by. Let me know. Also, send me pictures of the cookies. I must see them. I'm in. See, I'm torn. I kind of want to go back with Monk just for the straight up damage output. Kind of have Xmas done. Immediate family and a couple of friends' gifts gotten. You live in that zero magic defense life. That's the thing is, like, I feel a little bad saying it, but I just don't really have anybody to buy gifts for. Nor do I really have much money. Hey, I have a coffee. Coffee.com/MikhaManga if you want to help with it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Ish. No, it's weird just because, like, none of my extended family ever, like, even back when Mom was alive for years, none of them ever, like, talked to us or did anything. Like, Mom tried. You know, she tried to have a meaningful relationship with her family, but they didn't care. They expected a lot from her, but they never wanted to do anything for her. Because, like, after I got older, and, like, had a job and stuff, you know, like, into my 20s and all that, Mom and I really stopped doing big gifts for each other. Instead, we get each other more, like, cute or fun things, or just, like, a bunch of cute little things. Like, you should give me, like, TCG booster packs, or, like, pencils and stuff like that. Which, like, pencils sounds like a weird gift, but no, it's something I really like, because I do a lot of drawing specifically in sketchbooks. Because, like, both of us would just, like, if we wanted to buy each other something, we'd just do it. Most of the time, like, just any time of the year, like, you know, especially because I used to work at a place that was, like, a regular retail store, so I would just see something she would like, and I would go, oh, I'll grab that. And I've already said many times before, you know, like a lot of times my mom would go to thrift stores and she'd just find amazing deals on like old games and stuff. But then again, I'm also in that weird situation where, like, my immediate family for most of my life has consisted of exactly one other person. So it's not like I had any, like, siblings or a dad to buy anything for. Also, this may be totally random, but I've been trying to, you know, with my feminine voice, kind of adjust it more in my throat instead of in my cheeks, which, because, like, after streaming for a long period of time, my face would start to hurt. Because this voice I mostly do in my cheeks and not in my throat. And hearing it on stream, it doesn't even quite come out like I want it to sound anyway. It's kind of one of the issues where, you know, your own voice sounds different in your head than it does to other people's ears. Or to your own ears if you're listening to it in a recording or something. Like I said, I'm always so, like, inspired by Rain. Because again, like, I've mentioned this on stream before, but, you know, like, kind of when I first, well, not exactly met Rain, because, you know, like, back in the Shadow Fox era or whatever, granted, I didn't know she was the same person for, like, a year or two. You know, it wasn't exactly when I met, but, like, you know, when Kubi was mentioning Rain and stuff, and I remember going to the first of Rain's streams, and when I heard her voice, I'm like, oh, I thought Kubi said Rain was trans, I guess not. Just because, like, her voice is just that, like, I never would ever have guessed. And that's kind of the goal I want to reach with my voice. And it's not about, like, quotation marks passing or impressing anybody or whatever. Because regardless of what you're born with, you know, like AMAB or AFAB, someone's voice can sound like literally anything. It's more for just completely self-actualization purposes. Also to be able to sing duets with myself. Eek. I think I've mentioned it before, but I absolutely love the cloud effect on this little area here. Oh, also, I haven't made them, like, public-ish yet, but I have actually been uploading my stream VODs to YouTube. I wish I'd done it sooner, because I kind of wish I could go back and rewatch some of my older streams. But at least I know they'll pretty much be preserved perpetually at this point. Because maybe I have some setting wrong, but I know that Twitch generally deletes them after 2 weeks. Also, you know, maybe this is just a me thing, but I know with a lot of times when people play, like, older games, they'll use fast forward or whatever while they're doing grinding and all that stuff. And is it weird that I kind of don't really like to do that? I mean, it's different if a game, like, on its first ever release has a fast forward built in. You know, like, with a lot of the trails, like Trails in the Sky and stuff like that, and Trails from Daybreak, that series, you know, like, most of the newer games just have fast forward as a standard feature, like, from the get-go, so in that case, the game was designed to use it. But I feel like using stuff like, not necessarily rewind per se, but like a fast forward function in an emulator is kind of like, you know, that design wasn't intended as part of the original game's design. Especially since I've seen a lot of people doing like Pokemon playthroughs or Nuzlocke or whatever, where they'll like use the fast forward so much that they just get like, they'll just skip important things, teach their Pokemon the wrong move that they didn't mean to, or just other stuff like that. Where they just get like so addicted to the fast forward, if that makes any sense. Though it is interesting for the first 2 Pokemon generations, the Pokemon Stadium games, they had something called GB Tower that would let you play your Game Boy game just on the TV through Stadium. And it's interesting because the GB Tower actually, like, as you played through the different stadiums and stuff, like, in the game, you would unlock Doduo and Dodrio Game Boys, which would let you play the game at, like, double or triple speed. Not Stadium, but, like, your Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, Crystal games. It's like, it's crazy to have a game, like, official software have a fast forward feature like that in, like, 2000 and 2001. But then again, like, as modern for the time, and in a lot of ways still kind of are modern, the design and everything for the Pokemon games, even on Game Boy it's easy to forget that the Game Boy's like, you know, freaking hardware from 1989. So, you know, even by 2000, emulating Game Boy wasn't a challenge. Though it does always, catch me as like fascinating that, with Pokemon Red and Blue, or I guess Red and Green, like, it's crazy that these are like Game Boy games in 1996 that have like an open world with like no load screens. Because it kind of has a bit of a Metroidvania style progression with the HMs and all, but it really is completely open. Because that's actually one of the things that got me with, like, okay, I love Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, but the world always felt more closed off and restrictive than Ruby and Sapphire, even though the maps are ostensibly the same, and I realized that, like, that's because there's load zones between areas. Like, one of the biggest examples to me was, like, when I would do Pokemon breeding in the original, like, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, I would run back and forth from, like, Verdant Turf Town all the way to that little coastal area with, like, the Rockers and the Aroma Ladies. You know, just, like, through there, through Mauville, past the daycare. And it's just, like, one long, smooth thing all the way through. But, between each area in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire would have, like, do kind of like the, door opening sound and then go black for a second and then load the next area. Which, like, I understand this is a fully 3D game on the 3DS. But, I did it. It's one of those things, like, I don't ever notice it in X and Y or, like, Sun or Moon or anything, because they're made with the 3DS. The games have always been like that. But with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, having the original Game Boy games to compare them to, it's like, oh. I don't know if I'm making any sense. It does make me wonder if why, like, with, games like Scarlet and Violet and ZA and stuff, once again, they're trying to present their entire maps without any load scenes unless you, like, enter a building or something. And I feel like that's something that's a lot more important to, like, Game Freak and their design philosophy than people give them credit for. It's just kind of making the world feel like it's cohesive. Because, again, they were doing it back on the original Game Boy. But I feel like they also fall victim to the fact that, like, with 2D games, you can get away with a lot more cheats and abstractions when it comes to things like scale. I know you talked about this a bit ago, but I wish I saved my VODs or uploaded them to YouTube because I kept forgetting to do that. Well, I was honestly under the assumption that it would be, like, way harder to do that. But there's literally, like, an export button on the desktop version of Twitch. And you can just choose to export it to YouTube and then sign into your YouTube account. give it a little approval to, like, you know, oh, you let them see your videos and access your YouTube for you. And after you do that, it just does it automatically. Like, I didn't even need to leave my computer on. I just checked YouTube on my phone every once in a while. It was just uploading them. It queued it up and pretty much did all the ones I set to upload automatically. You know, I hope it doesn't come off as narcissistic that I like to watch my old VODs. You know, once again, part of it's just your history, and, like, another part of it's just, like, I mean, when I stream, I get to play video games and hang out with my favorite people. So it's almost like having a video version of a photo of a time when you and your friends hung out or something. But hey, next time when you stream, I will go into your DMs and annoy you to remember to upload your VOD to YouTube. Because I thought I was gonna have to, like, download the video and then upload them one at a time, but no, you can just do it straight from Twitch's UI. Because I'm gonna make sure from now on that I basically set each VOD to upload to YouTube after I'm done streaming. The hardest thing is it's difficult with, like, executive dysfunction and stuff like that, where something that even takes, like, 3 seconds just feels like you have to move an entire mountain to make yourself do it. Especially if it's outside the flow of how you normally do your stuff. A lot of it is just learning to integrate those things into your natural flow. Because I feel like one of the biggest things with being neurodivergent and fighting against executive dysfunction and stuff is that, like, it is so easy to get stuck on the first version of a thing you did. HP plus 10%. Because, I mean, even I mentioned it earlier a little bit ago, like, you know, I get stuck in the mentality from my older RPG playthroughs to not use any MP and not use any items, when obviously the game is not designed for you to be, like, hyper-aggressively conserving every single attribute. It's designed for you to figure out how to balance that. But I think I trailed off, but what I was saying with Persona is that, like, with Persona 4 and 5, your SP is designed to be your timer for how far you can delve into the dungeon. Because you need SP to make sure that, like, the random battles, you know, you can actually do your all-out attacks. And stuff like that, so you can complete the random battles quickly and efficiently. Because if the random battles drag on too long, the random battle enemies can do enough damage and status effects to cause real problems. That's why SP items are so expensive and hard to come by in Persona 4 and 5. Or, you know, they just restore such little SP that it doesn't even make much of a difference. Because that's kind of a thing in place to keep you from just wiping an entire dungeon out in a single night. But again, like, traditionally, you know, it's in my mentality, because, like, I know with Persona 3, which was the first, you know, game in the series I really played, with Persona 3, I was, like, trying desperately not to use any of my SP, and I was just getting my ass kicked by randoms, because I was just trying to spam attack, attack, attack. Which, like, obviously doesn't work, especially because, you know, your allies are going to still use their moves. Because with Persona 3, you don't control your allies. Which I feel like everyone gets frustrated with, but the thing with Persona 3's design in general is, like, you have control over, like, the AI and the commands and stuff like that, but also your hero is exponentially more versatile than they are in not just later games in the series, but even in the other versions of Persona 3. There's one thing that gets lost that's not in Persona 3 Portable or Reload, is the fact that your hero doesn't only use katanas in the original. When I say the original, I'm talking about both the first release of Persona 3 and FES, basically the PS2 versions. But like with the original, your hero can equip any weapon in Persona 3. So if there's an enemy weak to like crossbows or piercing instead of slash, you can actually like... I remember I was recently started a fresh playthrough of Persona 3 FES on PS2 about a year ago or so, and there was an enemy that I didn't have its spell weakness, but it was weak to like bow and arrow attacks. But you know, obviously, since the AI controls your party member, I couldn't just get Yukari to attack it every single time for weakness. And then I was fiddling around and I realized that, oh, the hero can equip the bow and arrow. So I just went and bought an extra bow and arrow from the weapons guy, and I'm like, oh, I can just have, you know, the main character take care of it. But that's the thing, is like, once again, a lot of people don't like not being able to control the party members in the original releases of Persona 3. And that's understandable. But I also think it can be a lot of fun to try to meet game design halfway. You know, of course, like, we all have our wants and expectations from a game, but it's also important to understand what the designers were going for, instead of just trying to brute force your own way of playing, or what you think the way of playing should be because of this or that, like, genre or whatever. Because the big thing with Persona 3, especially, well, the original releases of Persona 3, is that it's a life simulation, but it's leaning really hard into those aspects in the way that, like, you are only that main character. You're not the whole party like you are in most RPGs. Because if you want to change a party member's equipment in Persona 3, you actually have to walk up to them and talk to them. They're not in your main menu. Again, whether or not this was, like, an ideal way to take the game design, you can argue that. And it can definitely be player unfriendly at times, but they made a choice to kind of take their idea all the way through, so, you know, like, I at least respect that. And again, I don't think it was a bad choice to change a lot of those aspects with the remakes and stuff of Persona 3. But I'm just saying, like, the original versions, they definitely had a vision in mind. And I don't think it's any kind of compromise or any kind of, you know, like, backing down on a piece of art when... If somebody says, you know, hey, it's not as fun not being able to control your party members, or, you know, it can be a little obnoxious having to talk to them every single time that you want to change their equipment or something... You know, just taking that to heart and being like, yeah, you're right, we should change it. You know, that doesn't mean you failed or that your art was a disaster or anything. It's just like, you know, whether they're making huge games that are played by millions or just doodling stuff in your own sketchbook, you know, the artist is still a person. And, you know, sometimes you get something pointed out to you and you realize it doesn't work. You know, that's one thing, like... It's a little bit of a running joke, but with, like, Hideo Kojima's games post, like... From Metal Gear Solid 4 onward, people will jokingly say that, you know, like... Oh, Kojima needs, like, a copy editor or something. And the thing is, like, yeah, kind of. Just in the way that, like... You know, he's created something so vast and so huge... And, you know, he's kind of become this celebrity to a degree. But a lot of people forget that a lot of the celebrity creatives are still humans, and you kind of still need somebody to watch your back, rein you in, and tell you an idea might not be the best. Or, you know, it might not be fun, it might not be interesting. Other people just may not vibe with the vision. Because I think a similar thing happened with George Lucas and, to a lesser extent, Akira Toriyama. Because George Lucas, like... with the Star Wars prequels, there's nothing wrong with liking the Star Wars prequels, by the way. They definitely have cool moments and ideas, and especially if you're nostalgic for them, there's nothing wrong with, like, really loving them. I'm just saying, like, there are definitely times when you can tell that he had less influence from editors and other people than the original trilogy did. Because a lot of stuff that could have just been cut for efficiency or redundancy reasons just weren't. Or a lot of things that just, like, make sense in a first draft, but just sound awkward or weird when read by a person. And the reason I can say you can tell that with Metal Gear is because, like, especially with, like, Metal Gear Solid 4, there are definitely a lot of line reads and excessive amounts of dialogue. Once again, Metal Gear Solid 4 became pretty famous for its, like, 45-minute cutscenes. Because I know, like, even just looking back at old things I wrote, I realized that, like, oh, you know, this thing just kind of repeats exactly what the characters were saying, you know, 3 scenes ago or something, without adding to it or anything. The reason why I mentioned Akira Toriyama is because, like, with some of the later stuff he wrote for, like, the Super era Dragon Ball, I feel like there was because once again, by this time, you know, he's this legendary kind of talent that's influenced millions of people's creative works. So I feel like people were a little more apprehensive to, you know, kind of tell him that, you know, oh, you could probably cut this, or you could probably change this. Where with, like, Dragon Ball, like the original manga, which, you know, encompasses all of classic Dragon Ball and the Z anime, you know, he'd have editors and other people kind of overseeing him, being like, this doesn't work, or, oh, change this. The most infamous version of this is probably the Android arc, where, you know, originally the intended villains were just Android 19 and 20. And then one of his former editors, who wasn't even still his official editor at the time or anything, was like, this is the villain? Some old guy and a fat dude? And Toriyama was like, huh, of course not. And then changed it to, like, Android 17 and 18. And then, you know, it was like, oh, so the real villains are just 2 kids? And he's like, no, of course not. And that's where Cell ended up coming from. Because it does make me wonder if, I think it was Torishima was the person who called him. It does make me wonder if Torishima had still been an editor, if we ever would have seen Androids 19 and 20. Or if they just would have been ended up getting cut, like, before they ever made it to the comic. I'm not even missing that much HP. I'm just missing, like, freaking MP as the stupid magic hammer attack. Thankfully, in this game, the inns are very cheap to stay at in comparison to the money you earn from a couple fights, so... Yep. saving the game every 5 minutes. I'll be back in just a sec, guys. I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick. I live. Okay, I see the redeem on the screen. Everybody grab your non-caffeinated sugar-free beverage of choice. I got my water tumbler right here. I just got here after the ad break started. Hi, Maddie. We're doing some Final Fantasy V grinding. Because when I tried to do this dungeon near the end of the last stream, I got completely mollywopped by the random bad guys. Well, actually, it wasn't that bad. It was just more like I was taking more damage and stuff than I really want to from random fights. So I'm grinding a little bit, though I'm probably going to give it another shot, probably in a couple minutes. I wasn't secretly waiting for you to get back before I progressed the story, Baka. But how did the cookie making go? Hopefully you will just be jolly hopped by the end. Hey, it is the season to be jolly. Eek. Yo, who all hopped up on Joy and Whimsy? It's an uphill battle. The second half wasn't so bad. We aren't done with baking, but we are for tonight. Gotcha. Also, random funny thing. Yesterday night, I had turned my PS5 on to check something, on the PlayStation Store. Well, check something. I specifically had, went there to wishlist, Soul Calibur 3, the PS2 version, because it had released digitally, but I'm not... probably gonna be a little while before I buy it. And in the process of doing this, the criminal ran into the house, ran to my chair, jumped onto my lap, made herself comfy, and fell asleep within the course of like 2 minutes. And the thing is, like I said, she's usually like all over the place and losing her mind and, you know, just like causing problems, but she was just so comfy and relaxed and chill. I didn't have it in me to get up, so I ended up playing Octopath Traveler 2 for like 2 hours. Because it was the game that I happened to have in the disc tray. And she was just so relaxed and peaceful, I couldn't bring myself to get up. Eventually I had to pee, though. Made snowballs, peanut butter blossoms, kisses and Reese Cups, and Buckeyes. Big fan of that game. She must be, because that's what I was playing. I don't know what's different or whatever, but the last few times she's run in the house, she's been a lot more calm. She used to like run around knocking things down and stuff all the time, but like the other day, I woke up out of bed, because I always keep the door to my bedroom shut. But, I got up out of bed, and she was just casually sitting really chill in my chair in the living room. Okay, that's done, So hey, maybe whatever was... I don't know, maybe she just realized she can relax. because the thing is, like, you know, after I got back from going to the bathroom, she just walked over to the door, you know, the back door, and went outside after I opened the door for her. I don't know, maybe she's just lonely. More thunder, power, sleep, card, captors of the cloud, expect the unexpected now. I mentioned before that they're kind of like the neighborhood cats, but I don't really know how much actual attention they ever get from anybody. I like Drippy. Bye, Drippy. Don't worry, Drippy will be back. So do you think it's a title, or do you think Drippy's just their actual name? Yay! Moisana. Drippy would get in your business about your name. You know, fair enough. When you try to rock around the clock, you know it's Drippy. It's Drippy, 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 Drippy. Y'all's faves cookie. I mean, as a board certified basic bitch, it's chocolate chip for me. But I also really like those, I like the Walmart deli chocolate chunk cookies. And I like, I also really like the ones that have like M&Ms baked in. It's oatmeal raisin, which I'm gonna make after I eat dinner. My mom loved oatmeal raisin cookies. Fire! Maddie loves ginger snaps. Just when a green-eyed redhead finally loses it. You know, honestly, just a little bit of grinding, things are going way better. My mom made oatmeal raisin before I knew we were starting and messed them up. Give up on them made me a little sad because I wanted them. How did they mess them up? I love the way the layering and the scrolling does on this scene. It just makes you feel like you're so high up, especially with the clouds going across. The oatmeal raisins. Send you some of the oatmeal raisins we make tonight. You didn't put parchment down the over. Oh, ooh. That feels like a pretty rookie mistake, though. Look, even the sprite gets lit up when you stand in like the light in the door. Oh, that's so good. Apparently the recipe just said grease pan, but I don't know what she used or how much to grease it. I don't know, Maddie, like, no offense, but with what I know of your parents, I feel like your mom's the kind of person who would absolutely fall for like an AI generated recipe. You know, the kind that tell you to put like freaking dish soap or driveway gravel in your fucking... I mean, I know most of them aren't that bad, but a lot of them... Because again, AI isn't actually artificial intelligence, it's just a language learning model that puts words together based on the highest probability of those words to show up near each other. So, like, it can give directions that sound convincing if you don't know what you're talking about. He's known to mess things up when I'm not there, like forgetting sugar in the pumpkin pie. I didn't even think about generative AI recipes. Yeah, they are a thing. They're absolutely a thing. They're one of the first things that was showing up, and like a lot of times, if you Google certain recipes, the AI-generated ones will show up near the top because of Gemini and all that stupid shit. It's something more my grandma would do. My parents are around a decade off, though. Okay. Also, there's the fact that, like, due to corporate shrinkflation-y stuff, I don't know if they ever rectified this, but I do know that, like, I think it was Betty Crocker, though don't quote me on that, but one of them where, like, most of the recipes used exactly one singular box of their mix, but they actually reduced the amount that comes in each box. So now you need like a box and then like a tenth of another box to actually use the recipe properly, but none of the recipes are adjusted for it. Only because your mom already has recipes and uses... Oh, okay. I mean, it's actually kind of... I don't think terrifying is the word, but almost heartbreaking. Because, you know, without giving too much away on a big live stream, I feel like your parents are, like, a prime example of what happens when somebody's neurodivergent and is not properly cared for without, like, the proper considerations used. Especially, you know, plus not having the awareness that you are. Because something like forgetting sugar in the pumpkin pie is absolutely the kind of shit I would do if I don't have someone there to, like, keep me on track, or if I'm not super duper focused on keeping myself on track. Yeah, okay, I can't get in that door in there. What the hell am I supposed to do? Nobody told me I was gonna have to think. any further this way, so let's see where else we can go. Is there anywhere else we can go? Back with pizza, let's go. I actually had myself a pizza earlier today. I had a Domino's coupon, so I got pizza and some garlic bread bites for like $5. Not a piece, like total. Also Domino's, whoa, hell yeah. Job level, time level 6. We are psychically linked by our yummy pizzas. Fire! Yeet. Okay, first things first, I'm the realist. Be funny you mentioned AI recipes, because we were quartered the Buckeye recipe since it makes over 100, and she looked up the cup measurement for a quarter pound of butter. Huh? Told her to look at something lower since it's wrong sometimes. Recipe normal was for 2 pounds? Oh. Oh, you're making 100. I'm sorry. I'm thinking like... Ended up being 50 since we made them smaller. Gotcha. Okay. Since we went farther back down in the dungeon, let's go ahead and run out and go back to the inn real quick. Okay, that's what I was doing. Good. I swear, I must be much more tired than I think I am. Biggie. These fucking guys. It's just strolling up in here trying to take me to the bone zone. Either of you had Buckeyes before? I feel like Northeast Coast to Midwest thing. I don't even know what they are. It might be one of those things where I'd like familiar if you showed me, I just know it by a different name. Peanut butter ball dipped partially in chocolate. No, it's not something I'm really familiar with. Like fluffy peanut butter. Definitely sounds something like my mom would have liked, though. My mom really loved peanut butter chocolate stuff. Reese's Puffs, Reese's Puffs. Eat 'em up, beat 'em up, beat 'em up, beat 'em up. Showing you trays we made that were likely on them. I'll point them out. It's not a big deal right now. Yeah, right now, but still. I mean, my phone's right here, so... Okay. Now, one thing I think I need to do that I have not been doing as well as I should is I need to reconfigure everybody to have more specific roles. It's like, okay, Lena's a time mage right now, so let's stick with giving her support stuff. Actually, she's at time level 6, so let's switch her job to a white mage. Give her time magic as her secondary. Now for Ferris. They're a favorite of my older brothers, so we usually make a big amount. Okay. There. Yeah, I kind of want to keep Ferris in a heavy job, so to speak. We have someone tanky. Actually, let's go ahead and make her a knight. And let's give her her Spellblade as her secondary. Aleph has Summon. Shirahadori. Catch and stop enemy attacks. It's like a counter thing. I feel like I'm kind of all over the place with Galuf. I feel like I never really set him into anything I wanted him to do. In a way that, I mean, like, I haven't really leaned specifically toward magic or toward... He's barely leveled up anything. Magic is pretty. Does it change with the job class? Or is it just like that? Well, okay, no, like, the summon magic, as long as you have the summon, his magic's pretty high. Yeah, your stats change with your job class. So his magic's high right now because he's a summoner. You see, like, Bartz has a magic of 2 just because he's a monk right now. But if I changed Bartz to a summoner, he'd have a higher magic stat. So your stats and stuff actually change with your job class. So if I changed him to, like, a knight or a monk, his spell, like, his magic would be a lot lower. Wish my stats change with my job class. I mean, I guess they kind of do if you stay at one job long enough. Let's see what Ranger gives us stats-wise. Magic 57's still pretty good. And I think with Ranger, you should be able to use the bow to attack from the back row. Whoop. Okay, so let's see how this layout does this. So I guess I'm trying to give people more dedicated roles. Like, Bartz as a monk is obviously going to be a physical attacker. Now Lena's on full support duty right now. Of course, the time magic also does give her the option for, like, Comet. So she got that ability as well. And Galuf can kind of be like the mixed attacker. And then Ferris is like full heavy offense. Or Bartz is more like quick light offense. I don't want Bartz to be a monk or a ninja. Because I'm always torn. Bartz is a little bit saddled with the whole learning thing, because I want him to be able to learn the blue magic. Whatever one's used, but like... whether to take it on or off is a little bit of a... like, I don't want to have to, like, keep looking at a guide. Oh my god, I am so fed up with this dancing dagger. Rah! I have food now. Welcome back, Rain with food. We're just grinding and switching up everybody's job classes to explore the dungeon. Dong. Lightning Skull Shuriken. Do I not have Fire Skulls? Why are they all the way down there? Why do they only target one enemy? Oh, okay, they don't. They call them scrolls because it takes you forever to scroll to the freaking item menu to find them. Tablets. Okay, that's the thing, is like, with the freaking drippies and the freaking magic hammers. Also, why do I keep getting caught in back attacks? I am finished with food. What did you food? Taco salad, and I fucking inhaled it. Nice. Also, kind of funny thing I noticed. I mentioned that I had been just like listening to my own VODs again, and boy, I say fuck a lot. I mean, granted, that's an 18+ stream, but it's still funny to me because it's not something I even realize that I do. I mean, I do actually realize how much I say God fucking damn it when literally anything goes wrong, but I do that in my day-to-day life anyway. But no, it's particularly funny to me because I've mentioned before, you know, I pretty much lived with my mom my whole life. And my mom would swear all the freaking time. Like, it just came out when she talked, and it's so funny. But, no, I actually would not swear around my mom. In the, like, over 35 years that I lived with her, I think I swore in front of her a single-digit number of times. One of which was because I dropped a concrete block on my own foot. And thing is, like, no swear that I ever said in front of her was ever directed at her. My mind's just going to that animation that Axolotl's just singing a bunch of swears. feel like we're opposites in that you don't swear much when you type, but say it frequently. I swear a lot more when I type than when I talk. That's understandable, though. But you see, the thing I think I run into is that I still type the way that I used to talk. So, like, my current, I guess, speech is much more accurate to, like, how I think and my actual personality. But, like, I was much more reserved and stuff when I was, I guess when I thought I was a guy. But my typing style hasn't really changed. And again, now that I think about it, ever since I started streaming, I really talk a lot more than I used to as communication, because most of my communication was through typing for a pretty long time. The criminal has arrived. Criminal, yeah. He has chosen you as your human, there's no escape. I've noticed. I think she breaks into the house when she hears me talking. Because she hasn't really tried to come in for most of the day. I mean, if you would just sit in my lap, it would be fine. It's the constant gyrating and running in circles and trying to headbutt my microphone that's the problem. Try talking to yourself tomorrow. Oh no, I did that a couple days ago, and she started to try to break through the door. Considering that, you know, since I live alone, I don't really wear headphones when I watch stuff. Literally watching one of my own VODs, she was trying to run up and get inside. She must be asleep by the time we talk, since I don't think she jumps in by then. She's just a baby. She wants to play and throw affection toward you. Well, the thing is, she is much more aggressive if I'm looking at the television. Struggle seeing her asleep by 9. I think it's less that she's asleep and she's just more out doing cat things. Keep in mind, she still gets food and stuff from my neighbors, too. No rectangle time. You must pay attention to me. I don't know how to explain to her that the rectangle is my job. Then again, like, do you have the concept of job? Understand the concept of job. And also what a job is, yeah. Okay, so I've got this room right here. And I need to open this door. There are several layers of fucking... Oh, hey, treasure box. Ooh, treasure box full of money. Maddie, would you... Thank you for cutting a worthless object once again, darling. There's... equally... Irritating extensions. Aw, well, I mean, hey, at least it was named accurately. It is pretty fucking irritating. Oh, hey, it's the thing. Not the end result that I was expecting, but hey, we take those. Okay, she jumped down, and then she came back up to me and started headbutting me, so I think she actually does want me to put food out. I will return in just a moment to sate this criminal's appetite. Sounds like a screen name the criminal would actually have. Yeah. Be right back. Okay, the criminal has been abated. For now. Also, her name is Dot, by the way. She's actually one of 3 sisters named Dot, May, and Trix. Oh. Get commented. Back up we go. Change box. Ow! Why did you do that? Also, that's actually been a new verbal tick for me for the last, like, month or so. Is, like, if, like, let's say an inanimate object or something just falls down on its own, I'll be like, why would you do that? Rude, actually. Wind slash! Hippo. I read that as hippo crown. Thank you, dyslexia. Hypno crown. What is the wind slash? My version of that is okay. Tim? So we got wind slash. What do you do? Where is it? There's the Hypno Crown. Increases the success rate of manipulating enemies. Oh, there's one slash. Katana known as Kimai Tachi. Used two-handed. Samurai weapon. Okie dokie. Hey, Hypno Crown time. Sometimes with that's awesome for you. I don't know. Bong! Not the poison bracelet, come on! Sword level. Wait, I don't need to use my MV on Poisana. I have 84 antidotes. Maybe next time one of those bots show up, we should take them up on their offer. They seem really passionate about their cause. Can you please help a poor bot do one tiny little scam? One itty bitty, just for the honor of the bot. Just fall for the scam just one time, pretty please. Come on and slam, and welcome to the scam. Besides, like, I don't need the bots. I already have the best viewers right here in my chat. Literally the actual cutest people. Oh, who? I mean you! Save point. Ominous. Yeah, ooh. Do not beat, hey. Do not bite, do not fight, do not throw a thing you have. Cute viewers are drawn in by cute streamers, is what I've heard. Ooh, I know. Of course, I'm just a tiny little mouse with a video game controller sitting in front of my big old TV playing old video games. A cute little mouse with just big old round glasses. And when I'm doing like all my video game trivia and stuff, like my glasses shine and I push them up with my hand and I'm like, obviously. Take a sip of water between each sprint to each of the buttons. That's the secret of how I'm gonna get into shape. Honestly, I've seen the big giant controllers at like the Nintendo museum, and gosh, I want those IRL. Okay, everybody, grab your... I got my water tumbler. Some good sippy. Okay, grab your sugar-free, caffeine-free beverage of choice, and take a nice good sip. You know, I joke about playing old video games all the time, but I play a lot of new stuff too. Nothing is... Hey, nobody can control how I think. Thoughts are free, and me, being a thought, am always free. But no, I do play a lot of modern games, and like, the one sticking point I have with playing like a lot of modern stuff, or even like modern ports of older games, is so many games really want to remap critical functions to the fucking trigger buttons. And I just do not vibe with that. Only a matter of time for this charge your subscription fee on thoughts. You're not wrong. Look! Dragon grass! Ah! Help! What the crap was that? Grass isn't supposed to attack people. So often there's a whole studio based on it. No grass, that's a beast, a foul, leafy demon. Must be while the drakes are extinct. Well, I played enough Pokemon to know grass is weak against fire. Well, shit. good enough Pokemon to know that grass is weak against fucking shurikens. Right? Yes. Nice sunglasses. Thanks. We're all very cool right now. We do not give one single shit about the haters. Hey, not my Bob. Did we dance ice? A water scroll. Alright, now we're cooking. Of course I can't multi-target Asuna. Lightning. The Sheevers. Well, shit. Hi, Guru. We don't have any toxic yaoi, but we do have toxic plants. Merry Christmas, just in case I'm not able to say it in person. Merry Christmas to you. I hope you enjoy your KFC this year. Damn. Unfortunately, in my family, we only get KFC for grave visits. Yikes. It was my request from my grandpa before he died. Alright, fuck you guys, lightning scroll again. Don't be sad, Great Visits, where I'm from, is like a party. Very similar to how Mexicans celebrate. I know, like, I know with a lot of Japanese stuff, like, well, I feel like it's treating death as this horrible, forbidden, terrible thing is, like, kind of a white people thing. And just, like, America in general. Because I know in a lot of places, it's more a celebration of the person's life than anything. Fuck it, chocobo to the face. I think in some Asian countries similar to the West where they can see it kinda sad. I guess this thing just has a really high magic resistance. The criminal returns. Homegirl, you have been fed. You have no reason to come in here, bless you. Stop trying to headbutt the microphone. Sorry, she knocked the mic over. Yeah, the criminal purring before the property damage. Sorry. I think she had turned my mic off last time she headbutted it, so the last probably like 2 minutes of things I've been saying are completely silent. Very cool. You were just locked in. No, I was bitching the entire time. To myself, I guess. I mean, I guess I was locked in because I couldn't see the audio thing on my second monitor that tells me how, like, loud I'm being on the mic. I was kind of semi-locked in, but I was still bitching. Winning. Oh, no, you don't. Ugh. Give me a moment. I'm gonna have to put this criminal out again because he got bored with my lap and is now trying to crawl on my non-replaceable video game equipment. It's not even that it's that expensive, it's just, you know, it actually has emotional meaning to me. Okay, apparently Gaia's the one to go for. Haste yourself. And there goes my mic. Bonk. Though I do find it a really fun little, I guess, I don't know if Easter egg's the right term, but a fun little attention to detail that, if the ranger is got the darkness status effect, which affects the vision, they can't use the aim ability. Get hosed, motherfucker. The dragon grass. Look. Come on, let's take some and go. We got the grass. This dragon's gonna get blazed as fuck. Who knew the strategy of spamming powerful attacks and making your characters really fast would actually work? Okay, wait, shit. And I do. Hawaii drops. Also, I love the emote there, Rain. It looks like she's dancing to the battle theme. That's like Shenpai, isn't it? Dude, you can't just bone a guy out of nowhere like that. I forgot him, Darkness. It's one of my favorite emotes of hers. Man, I really need to get off my booty butt and actually work on my emotes. But it's like, this isn't an excuse, it's just an explanation, but it's just between executive dysfunction and just being fucking tired. It's just hard. He reminds me of Kyle Henke. I don't know who that is. I'm very sorry. He was the Tumblr queen back in the 2010s. Executive dysfunction and trying to have energy in a capitalist hellscape as an autistic person is very difficult. True. Because honestly, even on days when I, like, don't particularly feel bad, it's hard to do things I want to do just because it's like, I'll start doing one random thing and then I could just get stuck. Whether that's like watching YouTube or... It's like, I remember a few weeks ago, before the DLC came out, but like, I ended up spending 8 hours playing Legends ZA. And like, you say, oh, you know, spending all that time on a game must be really cool and fun. It's like, thing is, that wasn't the only thing I wanted to do that day, but it's just like I got stuck. And also with ZA, like, this is a compliment in a way, but it's like the gameplay loop is so clean and so well designed that, like, it never stays on one thing long enough for you to get bored, which is really dangerous for an ADHD person. Sometimes you don't want to do something until like half an hour into doing that thing, and you got to reach that half hour. That's a big one, too. I realize retrospectively, that's part of the reason why I had such a hard time playing or not playing, but finishing a lot of my old games, well, that I still own and still want to go back and finish, is because, like, I'd turn it on and play for 15 minutes and be like, I don't want to play this. Even though I did want to play it, it's just that, like, I have to, like, get my brain over that. What you're talking about, Manny, is what I call the hump. It's like I have to go over that hump, and then it's just, like, all smooth sailing all the way down. But getting over that first is can be such a challenge sometimes. Honestly, that's part of why streaming helps for me, I believe, is because, like, I'm not going to just come on and stream for 20 minutes. I'm going to try to do at least 2 hours most of the time. So, like, if I can get on here, if I'm streaming, you know, I'm forced to engage in whatever I started. Well, not really forced, but, you know, it's just like, I can't just turn it off. Or just go look at my phone and not say anything on the stream, you know? So it's like, I have to actually engage with it. And that's really good because it makes me actually, like, sit down and stay focused on something. I mean, a part of me wonders when I get more accustomed to working digitally if I should stream art just because it'll make me actually work on the art. Because one of the biggest problems is, like, okay, let's say I'm in the zone and I'm drawing and I'm listening to, like, a video, you know, it's like 30, 40 minute, like, video and stuff. Because a lot of the stuff I watch, this is going to shock you, but I watch a lot of, videos on retro gaming. And, you know, a lot of times you have, like, 30, 40-minute, like, things. And so the thing is, like, after the 40 minutes or something, I'll be like, oh, I need to click on another video. But then I'll end up scrolling YouTube for 3 hours without actually, like, meaningfully getting back to the drawing I was doing. Also, hi, Cole. How are you doing on this lovely Sunday evening? Number 15, Burger King foot lettuce. Yeah, streaming is totally a cheat sheet for getting through the backlog. Because I guess, like, semi-secret, not secret, because I've mentioned this before, I've never finished Final Fantasy V. I love Final Fantasy V, but the ADHD, executive dysfunction, like, whatever hybrid combo would always end up defeating me before I got to the end of the game. Because looking back, I've mentioned this before, but Mom and I would play a lot of games together where, like, both of us would engage with the story and meaningfully do the mechanics, but a lot of times I would be the one who would do the controllering. So, like, you know, we had to both play it, and the thing is, Mom wouldn't want to just play a game for 15 minutes. She's like, you know, even if I got bored or tired, or not bored, but executive dysfunction-y, I guess, I'd be like, come on, we barely did anything, come on. Especially if she wanted to see more of the story. So a lot of times, like, I was forced to get over the hump because I couldn't just duck out of a game after 10 minutes. It's interesting because thinking about that, live streaming has more or less been in my DNA for most of my life at this point. It's just that, you know, now I'm doing it on the internet in front of a bunch of cute people instead of my one cute mom. Burger. Executive dysfunction kicks my ass so hard most of the time. I need to get back to streaming next year. That and Rain. This may be a hard thing to be told, and I had to learn this too, okay? But it's like, you probably need to stream more games in your backlog that have definitive endpoints instead of just doing runs of roguelikes over and over. And see, that's what I'm planning on doing. Yay! I mean, nothing against roguelikes. Play as many of them as you want. I'm not trying to police you or anything. I'm just saying, like, if you want to accomplish your goals of actually tackling some of the games, you kind of have to do that. Roguelikes are just good for mindlessness with friends. Well, the thing is, like, much like with ZA, I feel like roguelikes are also in that zone where they're really super duper dangerous for ADHD people, because so much changes just enough, but stays familiar just enough that it's comfortable, but also keeps your brain stimulated. So it is really easy to roguelike for freaking 12 hours and be like, why the fuck is it 3 a.m.? For sure how I felt with baking earlier, saying it was an uphill battle, but at least we got it to be hot. Over 1,000 hours in both Slay the Spire and Roar 2. Okay, I know ROR is Risk of Rain, but for some strange reason, my brain really wants to interpret that as Red Dead Redemption. Red Order Redemption. Given me sleepless nights before. How I was for Hades. I think I once stayed up till 4 a.m. It was so bad. Well, the thing is, not only is Hades got, like, the roguelike thing, but it also has... I mean, Hades is basically built from the ground up for pansexuals and bisexuals. So it's a gay and it's a roguelike. So it's, like, it's even more dangerous. If you find people hot, Hades is for you. Literally me. Taking a nap. Sweet dreams. Talking about Hades, but I just saw the Persona 3 Persona and it still fits. I mean, honestly, the Persona games hit that same vibe too. Because once again, with the day progression system, you're doing familiar actions, but it recontextualizes it and reframes it every single in-game day. So Persona is another one where it's really easy to just put in like an 18-hour play session by accident. Aquathorn! Wait, shit. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the store in Schmibbity Dibbity Land up there, Quelb, and buy myself 1,000,000 scrolls real quick. Because the ninja scrolls really saved our ass in that Dragon Grass battle, Dragon Pod. The only character in Hades that I had any kind of attraction to was Artemis. If you know anything about Greek mythology, I think that tells you everything you know about my sexuality and my gender. Bong. Buying scrolls, buying scrolls. I'm walking up this hill to buy some scrolls. I'm trying to make sure I remember why I'm walking up this hill. I kid you not, I will walk around the house singing songs to myself. So by the time I like get to the kitchen or whatever room I'm going to, I'm still remembering what I'm gonna do because I was singing the song. Because I've, like, literally walked into the kitchen and be like, gonna make myself some rigatoni because I'm really hungry. That's the craziest thing about, like, ADHD or whatever, is that, like, you'll be, like, hungry, but making food isn't interesting or fun, so you just won't do it. And you'll just be, like, really fucking hungry and about to die. Why is shuriken expensive? I'll buy... 4. Go ahead and buy... 15 flame skulls. 15 water skulls. 15 enlightening skulls. Yeah. I feel like that I'll go to the kitchen to make food while I'm listening to my playlist and just start dancing and vibing, then my body forgets the hunger. I remember I was talking to Artist in a Discord and kept mentioning I'm hungry to remind myself to eat, and one of the participants got annoyed at me for that. Like, I feel my hunger, but if I don't remind myself, I'll forget. No, absolutely. I mean, honestly, I think that's why it's kind of good for ADHD people to have pets to a degree. Because, like, if a pet is demanding you for, like, food and stuff, you'll get up and you'll take care of your baby. And then if you're already up, you're like, well, I guess I should make myself some food, too. Because if there's anything I've noticed, it's like, even with ADHD and executive dysfunction and stuff, people will not neglect their babies. The cat reminds me to eat, exactly. She remembers my dinner time and it'll rub up against me when it's time. Yes! Dog whining to out and realize I should eat when he wants eat till he wants back in. Yep. Your babies take care of you in return. If I haven't made myself something to eat in a while, my cat will check up on me and lead me to the kitchen and just sit in the middle of the floor. Typically only happens if I'm super locked into a game, though. I swear, anyone who says cats don't care about their owners has never had a cat that truly loves them. Like, my cat has her food, so she doesn't have to remind me. Anybody who says cats don't love the people they're with just don't know how to treat cats or how to engage with them, and they just think cats are dogs. They try to engage with it like a dog, instead of trying to understand the cat for who they are. We're back. Now open the gate. Nice try, monster. You're gonna have to work harder to pull one over on the soldiers of Ba. Oh man, guess it's time for plan B. You coming? Yeah. Splishity splashity. There's also people who want a pet and think cats are low maintenance. Woo! Next time I'll check to make sure it's the king and then open the gate. Sorry, sire. I thought it was another of Exdeath tricks. No worries. Better safe than sorry, or whatever. I mean, cats are in terms of potty training, but they're still, I mean, like, well, living with any other creature, it's gonna be compromise. Not long after she was born, Creel's parents went to save a winddrake in the Glosiana Desert. They were never heard from again. Lady Creel said she had a headache. Lady Creel didn't look well. She went to a room in the tower to rest. Castle Ball is a long and rich history.
It's so old we don't even know all the secret it holds. Curse that Gilgamesh! Our troops have been decimated thanks to him. There was an accident when King Galuf walked through the meteorite and he lost his memory. Most likely the weapons and armor he took with him were destroyed as well. The barrier is maintained by 4 towers.
Any animal can range to be any amount of trouble. This stream's living proof that not all cats are chill and out of the way.
If we don't defeat Exdeath, it'll destroy the world. We just learned that King Cesart of Surget is sending his fleet to attack Exdeath's castle. Trail!
Grandpa. The hungry beast who literally owns Micaiah's house.
Hang on, dear.
He's calling.
Shh, don't try to talk.
Calling. Guido's calling.
Guido?
Hurry. Go find Guido, please.
Who's Guido? Sage who lived for over 700 years. Guido's the one who prophesied the crystals in your world would break.
And he's calling her, like, psychotically?
Psychically, Bartz. Anyhow, the sage might know some way to defeat Exdeath. Hang in there, Creel. We're gonna go see Guido. So just hold on a little longer.
But you have to use the Windrake.
Don't worry, we got dragon grass and spades.
Really? Drake's resting at the top of the tower.
Will you come with me?
Certainly. Like you needed to ask.
So where do we find this Guido, anyway? He lives in a small island. It's in the ocean northeast of Drakenvale.
Bart's a himbo. Not exactly a himbo. Honestly, if I had to guess from what I know of the game, he's probably more close to, like, someone who's really smart but also neurodivergent, so he just knows a lot about the things he specifically knows about and doesn't really know much else. Papa. Lady Krill collapsed. Ah, I see. And also, he doesn't fulfill the himbo prerequisite of being buff, either. Here, eat this. You'll feel better. Yum, 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 yum. I like Bart's and Van. Me too. I feel like that can be a subset of himbo, like the smart in a very specialized way.
Grass killed off all the windrakes. No wonder he doesn't want to eat it. Doesn't matter if he wants to. He has to. With wounds like these, if he doesn't hurry and eat that stuff, he'll die.
It's alright. Look, you can eat it. See? I'll have some too.
Lena, are you insane? Lena, did you forget dragon grass is poisonous to humans?
Here, now you try. That's a good boy. Lena! Lena, hold on. Drink this. Lena.
Lena, are you alright?
Yeah. Thank you, Creel. Don't do things like that. That's ridiculously dangerous. Cripes, Lena. If something had happened to you... Sorry.
Real, you sure you should be up and about?
I'm okay.
Creel.
Don't worry about me.
Jeez, oh Pete, every one of you guys is always going overboard. You stay here and get some rest, young lady.
Okay. Creel, thank you. I'm in your debt. You saved my Windrake. I think we're square. Thank you. Like a typical himbo, you think of may know advanced ways of building and maintaining a muscle. Lena, drink this. I feel so much better. What'd you give me? Poison. Well, you see, it's a commonly known medical fact that if you take a different poison when you're already poisoned, the two poisons will fight each other and kill each other, and you'll be healed. Keep reading Bart's name as Bratz, so I keep hearing that one pop singer in my head. It just makes me imagine him with giant lips and the sexy eyeshadow. Honestly, I really like the designs of most Bratz dolls, but the lips just kill it for me. Like, that gets me into a whole nother rant of American artwork always drawing women with giant lips, or freaking just, like, illustrating them like they're always wearing lipstick 24/7, especially in American comic books. Okay, I'll get to that later. First, let's focus on Final Fantasy V while we're still in a cutscene.
You may rest up now, got it?
I will. You guys be careful, too.
To Sage Guido.
Right.
Let's go. We're off.
We're drinking. I loved Bratz as a kid. I used to be a Barbie kid, and immediately exposed Bratz immediately changed over to it. It was designed by a gay man, so kind of it's all coming together, isn't it? No, like I said, I like the designs. I like the fashion aspects and stuff like that. Legitimately, the lips. And the thing is, actually, it looks a lot better on the physical dolls, but the illustrations, just like, it's so weird looking. Undergrounder. I know we're supposed to be going and seeing the Sage, but I saw a new cave to explore, and I'm easily distracted. This is why it takes me fucking 107 hours to beat games with a 30-hour runtime. Well, honestly, because they don't look human, Bratz had more diversity than Barbie at the time. Oh no, like, from my knowledge of it, like, Bratz was, like, way ahead of the game in a lot of ways. Not just in diversity and, like, the character design, but, like, in how the fashion and stuff like that was portrayed. My mom admitted that she felt uncomfortable buying me a Barbie doll because it was always a white woman. She felt like brats look more like me without a second thought. Because, I mean, like, I have nothing against Barbie, and it's gotten a lot better now, but it always has rubbed me a little bit the wrong way that, like, it always represented being a white American as the default beauty standard. Hey, there's nothing wrong with being a white American, and it's certainly not unattractive or anything. It's just, like, that's not the only beauty. Nor is it better or worse than anything else. Bridge. Wait, I think that's the big bridge that we battled on earlier. I am so tired of the back attacks. Am I just having terrible luck? Is it a luck stat thing? Is there some under the hood thingy I'm missing? The thing with the back attacks that makes them more annoying is that row changing takes an entire turn. Plus, when you're in a back attack, it also starts your, like, ATB gauge at a lower spot, so it's like you're basically losing like a turn and a half. No standard for beauty because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Which one? You have to find out after you kill it. Now roll for initiative. I always thought it'd be interesting in like a D&D type setting if like beauty is in the eye of the beholder was like completely a misconstrued thing, and it wasn't about like finding people attractive depending on what you are interested in, but it was actually like literally like the beholder's eyes were like some kind of rare gemstone or something. Oh shit, we can just come listen to this music anytime we want. But no, it always discourages me with, like, how I mentioned before, like, it taking me, like, 100-something hours to finish games that are, like, supposed to be, like, a 30-hour runtime or something. It's, like, it really does bother me because, like, like, when I finished Okami, I think it was, like, 81 hours was my time when I got the ending. And, like, I still didn't do 100%. There were, like, I did a lot of stuff, but I think I did, like, let's say, like, maybe 67, not 7, more than that. I probably, like, 85%ed the game, I guess. But, is long. Well, the thing is, like, it's saying, oh, you know, average clear time, like, 50 hours. And then, like, you know, or it was like 45 hours and like 60 for a 100%. And it was like 81 hours and I still didn't get 100%. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? Because that's the thing is, like, there are times when I'm playing a game, I even like trying to follow it and be like super quick and fast, and it still takes me forever and I don't know why. Like, I legitimately don't know what I'm doing wrong. Because, you know, I'll be watching people like the Kaseki Nut. I really like his YouTube stuff. He does, like, RPGs and stuff like that. And he'll, like, finish, like, 8 or 9 RPGs a month. And he's, like, on a few of them, he gets, like, a platinum trophy. And I'm like... And I feel like it takes me months and months and months to finish one game. It plays at their own pace. Well, no, that's the thing, though, is, like, I get playing at my own pace, but when it takes me, like, 5, 6, 7 times as long to finish a game, I legitimately feel like I'm doing something wrong. Or rather, I'm not... I mean, I know part of it is that, like, I do tend to, because of my own ADHD and executive dysfunction and stuff, I have a tendency to, like, if I want to go make dinner, I will leave a game on pause. Just running, because that way I won't forget to go back to play the game some more if I want to.
State your name and business. State your name and business. Stand down. This is King Galoof of Baal. Let him in. You cretins. King Caesar is leading the fleet to Extet's castle. Really?
Caesar, one of the Dawn Warriors, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all. Yep, 7th, you jump scared me. I'm used to your name being red. How are you doing today? So I'm sorry I didn't greet you. I thought it was rain. I blame the dyslexia, but yeah, how are you doing this Sunday evening, 7th? We're playing some Final Fantasy V. We just saved Creel's Windrake by defeating the Dragon Grass, which was a pain in the dragon ass. Is it usually? I don't know how Twitch name colors work. You can, like, go to your settings and you can change your name color. Then again, I wonder if it's showing up different for me only right now, and maybe it'll show up differently for you. It's still showing up red. I mean, I'm kind of surprised you didn't customize your name color to be green, because, you know,
I am green.
You know, which goes along with the whole 7th Force thing.
Someone who fought along with Dad.
Green actually is my favorite color. See, it's all coming together.
This way, please. Please, take anything within the castle that might help you. Thank you.
The song brings back so many memories. Back then, Zaysat used to sing it all the time. Learned a Swift song. Awesome! Gronk! Me, 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 me.
You should be able to land your dragon on the king's ship. Extet's castle is well fortified on the big bridge side, but the eastern side's relatively unprotected.
King Caesar is away, leading the fleet to access castle.
We can destroy that barrier around Extet's castle.
We'll defend the castle till King Caesar returns. Also, SVC Chaos is freaking awesome. By the way, 7th, I just wanted to mention it to you. I mean, I probably don't have to tell you that. I know it's kind of a divisive game, like in the overall grand scheme of the fighting game community and stuff. But I mean, honestly, when you're being compared directly to CVS2, it doesn't matter what game you are, you're probably gonna come out looking a little pale. Right? But no, and I mentioned it before on Blue Sky on that one tweet I posted on there, but like, freaking, you know, everybody having, like, 'cause I mostly just played around in practice mode for about an hour, tried out different movesets and everything. You know, mostly labbing. I didn't try to do, like, the single player mode or anything yet. But, yeah, everyone has like 3 or 4 pages of special moves, and Zero's got like 7. They're like, no, let's just give him literally his entire kit from Mega Man Zero 2, because why not? Like, SVC Chaos Zero is like Ultimate MVC3 Dante or something. You found a book that's over 1,000 years old. However, we've only been able to recover half of it, so we can't read it. It's entitled The Sealed Tome. We can't find the remaining half of that book anywhere. We've looked over every book on the planet. There's a book chronicling the horrible atrocities visited upon this land by Extat 30 years ago. Such a nightmare must never be allowed to happen again. Basically, glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, it's so fun. Also, okay, I've mentioned this before, I'm one of those weird people who I like to play fighting games for the story. And in addition to that, is that, like, there are a lot of fighting games, I feel like especially in the late 90s and early 2000s, where, like, the story was so out of focus that it barely even factored into the game. And for whatever reason, those games just tickled my imagination so much. Because, like, with Street Fighter 3, because I first played Street Fighter 3 The Third Strike, on the PS2 Street Fighter Anniversary Collection, but I didn't know the manual for that was kind of dog water, because all it did was, like, explain how to start the game and put it in the disc in the console. And, like, so I didn't really have much context for the characters of the story, aside from returning ones like Ryu, Chun-Li, and Ken. So, like, I just, like, these characters were so fascinating, they're designed so bizarre, that I just had, like, a million ideas going through my head of what was going on with, like, 12 and Q and Makoto and all this stuff. And so just, like, all this swirled in my head, and it was so fun. And like I said, I ended up finding out the real lore and stuff, and the real lore is cool too. But it's just, like, I'll never forget how exciting it was. You know, trying to think up the characters, like, all the stories to these characters when I was younger. Because, like, SVC Chaos kind of stimulates my brain in the same way, because none of the backgrounds have anything to do with anything from SNK or Capcom. The tone is so dark, the music is so post-apocalyptic and dour combined with the backgrounds. Yeah, I've actually seen a thing about the manhwa that's supposed to, like, set up SVC Chaos. It's apparently absolutely insane, and I think everybody's in purgatory or something. I don't necessarily know if that's the official reasoning behind what's going on there, but, like, the character roster selection is so unhinged that it, like, just stimulates my imagination even more. Because, like, dude, like, freaking Mars people, and the thing is, the Athena in this game's not Athena Asamiya, it's freaking 80s arcade game Athena. I thought it's normal to play fighting games for the story. It's what I do. I suck at fighting games so much. But to even reach those stories, well, that's the thing, Guru, is, like, with the fighting game community, for the most part, and that's not 100% true, obviously, but a lot of people in the fighting game community, at least traditionally, this may be different now, basically looked at fighting games as only PvP and nothing else. So a lot of times the stories would be skimmed over, or people wouldn't even pay attention to the characters, because, like, that's why a lot of jokes about characters' personalities and stuff have nothing to do with their actual characterization. The Heavenly Tournament, winning gets you whatever you want. Bison somehow hears about this and nukes the entire planet so he can get a shot at it. I somehow feel that that's not all canon. Maybe it's like the M. Bison with all the money from, like, the Street Fighter 1994 movie. That's how he can afford to get nukes. Of course! I'm not saying the manhwa is, like, completely BS. I'm saying more like they probably, it's like a Dragon Ball Super situation where they had the general gist of the story and just made up how everything gets there. It's the library's oldest tome, however, half its pages have been lost, so it cannot be read. I feel like there's something quite important within these pages. It's like shopping for manga, where they never have freaking volume 1, and then they never have the last volume. And the last volume is always like 10 times more expensive than the rest of them. I swear I've seen a book that looks just like this. Oh, I bet that freaking Forbidden Tomb or whatever. I bet that it's split between, like, the two worlds. What's SVC Chaos? Okay, there was a big multi-game collaboration between SNK, who's the company that makes, like, King of Fighters and Samurai Showdown and stuff. There was a big collaboration between them and Capcom in the early 2000s, which, like, the more well-known games are the ones on the Capcom side, like Capcom vs. SNK, Mark of the Millennium, for, like, PS1, PS2, and that kind of stuff. But SNK developed some games. One of the ones they made was a SNK vs. Capcom game for Neo Geo Pocket Color, which is currently available on Switch. And another one they made is SVC Chaos. And it actually got a Neo Geo release, like on the Neo Geo AES and MVS hardware. And then it was later ported to PS2 and Xbox, though. An interesting thing with SVC Chaos, and in general, a thing in the early 2000s, there were a lot of games that in, like, Europe and Japan and other territories, the games would be multi-platform, but weirdly enough got locked into an exclusivity thing in North America. So even though SVC Chaos is available on PS2 and Xbox in Japan and Europe, it's Xbox exclusive in North America until very recently, where it got a re-release on Steam, Switch, and PS4. Going to take off for the night. Bed's calling my name. Have a good night. Good night, Rain. You have a good rest. I hope your sleep is very sleepy and you wake up achy and refreshed. You know, the achiness because you slept in the same position all night and didn't tumble around. Good night. Yeah, other games that got caught in exclusivity weirdness is Puyo Pop Fever, which was a GameCube exclusive in North America, but in Japan and Europe it was on, like, almost everything. Like, DS, Xbox, PS2. In Japan it even got a Dreamcast release. Ooh, everyone just flips through the books and leaves them lying around. It burns me up. You there, help me put some of these away. Picked up Weird Ronka. This book is too heavy. I can't carry two at the same time. YZ shelf. How about let's put Weird Ronka on the YZ shelf? Register of Monsters. Oops. I Ronka'd incorrectly. Oop, nope, come back. Oop, oh shit, I'm gonna get flamed so hard in the comments. Hidden book. OQ shelf. New. The Ick shelf. The Delph shelf. Okay, can I reset this? I didn't permanently fuck up this book thing, did I? Okay, no. Okay. Weird Ronka. Okay, on the WX shelf. Forbidden book. On the Delph shelf. And then Register of Monsters. LMNOPQ. R. There we go. Thank you. I'm going back to my room. Following the old lady to her room. Thanks for your help back there. Now that I think about it, they say that there's some strange magic that allows you to levitate somewhere in the castle. Magic Volume 3. I'm a mage who knows how to lance. The secret to my strength. I just got back from the Northern Lake and whoa! You know it's all surrounded by mountains, right? When I was up there, there's this huge eye started glaring at me. It's amazing I made it back alive. Ooh, big bunny. Yeah, Sonic's Gems collection is another weird one in that category, where I'm pretty sure in most regions it's GameCube and PS2, but it's GameCube exclusive in North America. Exclusive games included, even. Actually, did the current SVZ Chaos Remaster get an Xbox release? I'm gonna look that up real quick. I feel like there's this weird pattern that happened with when kind of the Switch and PS4 became kind of the default consoles everything goes to. Where, like, there'd be this thing of games that came out for Xbox getting remastered, but not for Xbox. Yeah, it says that the remaster is for Windows, Nintendo Switch, and PlayStation 4. Because I know something similar happened with The Last Remnant, which is even funnier because The Last Remnant was an Xbox 360 exclusive, and the current remaster is Nintendo Switch, PS4, PC. So the remaster is actually a remake in disguise. Because the original Last Remnant was actually Square's first Unreal Engine game. It was made on Unreal 3. But the current remaster is actually made on Unreal 4. It kind of sits there along with the 1.5 Final Mix version, the HD version of Kingdom Hearts 1, which is also a remake disguised as a remaster. I had a friend that waited for the PS3 port to happen. I mean, I don't blame them because, with the exception of like Blue Dragon and Lost Odyssey, I think all of those 360 exclusive RPGs eventually got PS3 ports. Because there was like Star Ocean: The Last Hope, Eternal Sonata. I don't think Infinite Undiscovery, I think, is still Xbox exclusive to this day. But like Tales of Vesperia did get a PS3 port, but only in Japan, though that's on everything now. Ooh, new weapon. Great sword. Yeah, LR PS3 got announced and quietly swept under the rug. Well, from what I understand, its sales were not what they wanted. Which, granted, 2000 Square Enix, no amount of sales would ever have been what they wanted. Though, from what I understand, and I remember it had like a whole thing in Game Informer, it seems to me like with Last Remnant, it didn't have much of an identity in the way that like it wanted to appeal to the Japanese audience, but it also still wanted to appeal to a Western audience, but it ended up not really appealing to anybody particularly. I already have all those. Also, it does always kind of rub me a little bit the wrong way-ish, not from Square, but from people who talk about Square's games, is they always talk about how much they love how wild and experimental Square was in the PS1 era, but they've always been wild and experimental, but people hate it when they're wild and experimental now. Or, I say now, but also in the 2000s, but just like, at any point after the, you know, after the 90s, they don't want them to be wild and experimental anymore, just back then. Oh my god, stop with the fucking dancing dagger. We need to nap time, everybody. Nah, we're all looking good. Okay. I do like how many genres they flirted with in the PS1 era, though. Oh yeah, it's super fun. I love it. I don't mean just, like, with genres, but I just mean, like, the overall overarching thing of how, like, people just will not acknowledge that they make things besides Final Fantasy and occasionally Dragon Quest. And then they'll complain, like, oh, I wish that Square would still make turn-based games. And then there's this giant pile of turn-based games that they've put out lately, and it's like, well, not those. And it's like, bitch, what the f you want? Of Chrono Cross in the PS1 era. I have my issues with Chrono Cross, but its vibe is so immaculate and one of a kind. I've got no sense of direction. Incredible, like untouchable soundtrack. Holy shit. Turning into a thief because it'll show secret passages. Damn it. Worth a shot. Well, actually, wait, let's look around the castle somewhere. See if there's any other streets that I can sneak to. I'm not doing fast forward. If you hold down the B button with the thief, you'll just move that fast. Why am I so bad at navigating things? Erg. I don't know, I'm not seeing any hidden paths showing up. There's like this one spot with a treasure box and I cannot figure out how to get to it. I'm too pretty for this. The thing about Chrono Cross is that there's so many party members, each playthrough is different for everybody. think everybody should be good to go. The thing is, I think one thing that rubs a lot of people the wrong way about Chrono Cross is they're trying to play it like a completionist, like they've got to catch them all or something, when Chrono Cross really isn't meant to be played that way. Though I feel like the writing team and some of the people behind it may have been in a really bad place mentally for a few of the things that happen in the game, or the fact that the game rewards you really well for being kind of a bastard. Like, for example, like the method for getting Glenn and all that stuff. Like I said, I don't know if they were trying to send a message like that intentionally, or if they were just trying to be subversive with what people would expect from a game that gives you choices. Wiggly sand. Am I supposed to go down in there? Yeah, cave entrance. It's on, like, the other side. You know, it looks like it's like the cave exit. Because the Windrake can't fly over mountains. Because I thought they said the Sage guy was in, like, an island north of Queld? Maybe it's that little island out in the middle there. So this is it? Yep, Sage Guido's place. Let's find him. Wait. An earthquake? The island's breaking apart. We gotta hurry back to the Windrake. Mode 7 earthquake! Yee! Witness what befalls those who stand against me. Well, shit. Motherfucker really using the map editor in real time. Also, like, looping back around randomly to SVC Chaos, I love the freaking inclusion of Tessa from Red Earth. Just one of those games where, like, I wish the characters would make more appearances and crossovers and stuff. Tessa's 2 for 2 when it comes to unexpected playable cameos. What's the other one? Pocket Fighter. Oh, that's right. I have not played Pocket Fighter in so long.
That's really been giving him a beating. We don't have many soldiers left.
Actually, now that I think about it, because okay, I had both the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection and Street Fighter Alpha Anthology, and the Alpha Anthology includes Pocket Fighter. And I don't think I even knew what Tessa was from when I first played it back then. Vito's calling. Okay, Vito's Island kind of got freaking Thanos to help. Like, is there a Guido? Is he still alive? Moment. Oh, shit. I think I'm probably gonna go ahead and wrap up the stream pretty soon. I'm gonna go ahead and take a break from the gameplay and stuff and just switch to yapping mode. I need to get one of those background screens that has, like, you know, my little music and everything. Again, to get myself to stop executive dysfunctioning long enough to actually put all that together. Also, the creature never got put back outside. She just actually calmed down and fell asleep on my lap, so... As a pansexual, it's been very difficult to stay sitting in the same position for this long. Some editing I have to start. Ooh, do we get a secret sneak peek on the video you're working on? If not, that's cool. I totally understand if you want to keep it a secret for the people. Is it finally the Tatsunoko vs. Capcom Mega Man Walnut episode that's 6 hours long because it's mostly trying to tell people that they really need to go play through all Mega Man Legends? Didn't hear it from me, but... I know you did, Walnut. You have to do part 2. Where it's just a let's play of both Legends games and Misadventures of Tron Bonne all stitched together. I'm just trying to get everyone to go play Mega Man Legends. I mean, the Star Force collection's coming out soon. So they're running out of Mega Man's 2 Legacy Collection eyes. They gotta get them eventually. Need to finish this gay art before Christmas. It's beginning to gay a lot like Christmas. Iron Fist. Don't really have time for a really involved video this week. I gotcha. I actually don't really know much of anything about Iron Fist. I've mentioned before in a few of your videos' comments that, like, I'm very much in it for the Capcom side, and most Marvel stuff I've learned from either your videos, the few times I've tried to watch the MCU movies, or, you know, just whatever in the games themselves. So I'd be interested to see, because I also think I mentioned before, but, like, I didn't own Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom until earlier this year when I got it on sale on the Xbox store. So, like, a lot of the UMVC exclusive characters I haven't really gotten a chance to play with. That, and for some reason my brain really gets Iron Fist and Nova mixed up a lot. Is ever a new Marvel vs. Capcom? I hope Elsa Bloodstone gets added. It's actually going to be Arthur, but the Steam Deck I used to record a lot of footage has been sent in for repairs. Oof. It's like reusing the footage from, like, I guess for Arthur, a lot of that's available on the Capcom arcade. Shit, I can't remember what they called them. Capcom's released a lot of collections, their arcade ones, but there's the current one where you can buy, like, each game for $2 a piece or something. Arcade Stadium, that's what it is. Though I do love Street Fighter 6 following the Yakuza example of just being a stealth way to re-release a bunch of the old arcade games. Because I do wonder if there are quite at least a few people who bought the Like a Dragon games just as a quick and easy way to get to, like, Virtua Fighter 2 or Daytona or something like that. Arthur is an interesting character in the context of the Marvel vs. Capcom games, though, because he doesn't really play like he's in Marvel vs. Capcom. He plays pretty much like he's just a Ghosts and Goblins character who happens to be in a fighting game right now. Like with the stiff jump, no air dash, like all that stuff. Yakuza a fan, but I also bought guidance specifically for Daytona too. Valid. Yeah, to his detriment, but I still think he's neat. I mean, honestly, not necessarily a competitively good character, but I think he gets by just on commitment to the bit. Because it always makes me happy when characters, whether it's Smash or Marvel or anything, like when non-fighting game characters get added to a fighting game, I always love when they bring gameplay elements in from their own game. Like Mega Man being able to do the charge shot and stuff like that. Glad they did the underwear thing. Wouldn't be Arthur without it. True. Very true. Also, speaking of crossovers, shout out to Morrigan and also Etna from Disgaea, just randomly being playable characters in the Idea Factory RPG Cross Edge. Which is like, Cross Edge itself, its entire existence is super weird because it's a PlayStation 3 exclusive niche RPG. Which, if you started with PS3 in like the 2010s, that sounds like, okay, yeah, sure, just like Hyperdimension Neptunias and, you know, the later Disgaeas and stuff. But no, it's weird with Cross Edge because it came out as a PlayStation 3 exclusive niche RPG at a time when RPGs were not coming out for PlayStation 3 at all. It's one of the few RPGs that has the, like, Spider-Man font PS3 logo down the side. And I associate that logo so hard with, you know, the edgy, angry, pissy, brown and gray. And I don't mean pissy as in angry, I mean like the piss color that was in every game back then. You know, like I associate it so much with stuff like the Resistance Fall of Man and other edgy, angry games that it is really like almost surreal to see that PlayStation 3 logo on a game with like an anime character on the front. I think Vesperius 3 is the only PS3 RPG I have with the old font. Because there's Cross Edge and also Disgaea 3. Because the original print run of Disgaea 3 did have the freaking spider font. And it is so weird because Disgaea's, not only is the character art on the front really bright and colorful, which seems really out of place with that PS3 logo, but also the fact that, like, when you pop the game into your PS3, it's still using, like, the PlayStation 2 era sprites and everything. So Disgaea 3 is, like, one of the most out-of-place early life PlayStation 3 games. Which, like, I'm glad it's there. I am. But it's just, like, so funny how out of place it feels in the era that it came out for PlayStation 3. Because interestingly, my PS3 Japanese copy of Vesperia is not the side font logo. The one I actually have is the yellow logo PlayStation The Best reprint. But I do believe I'm gonna... I think that one uses the later PS3 logo with the yellow label. Yeah. Because there are quite a few games that got like reprints with the later yellow label. And also that weird thing when the PlayStation 4 came out, like a year after the PS4 came out, a bunch of say like maybe like 20 or 25 PlayStation 3 games got printed with blue logos. And it's like, I'd always joke with a friend of mine I used to work with, that the PlayStation 3 was specifically designed to piss off people with OCD who want their games in alphabetical order in their shelf. Because I kid you not, okay, just North America, not even if you import any games from like Japan or Europe, just North America, there are like 7 different spines. Because there's like the early launch PlayStation 3 spine, you know, with the Spider-Man font logo that has like PS and then the number 3 really big underneath it. There's the greatest hits version of the Spider-Man font. There's the standard black label PlayStation 3 most people think of that started in like 2009. There's the greatest hits version of that. There's a different greatest hits spine that was on a tiny handful of prints. It's also red and uses the black, like the same PlayStation 3 as the black logo. Yeah, the Spider-Man font had a few greatest hits versions. And it's actually a little annoying because those greatest hits were $29.99, not $19.99, which always also kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And then there's like the blue label. And there was like another one that's like really niche and was on a handful of spines. Not to mention like PS3 was also a little guilty of a thing that a few other platforms do as well that annoys me, where like half of the games will have a generic like white or black font and the other half will have the game's logo. Like Xbox One does that also. Because like even turning to my shelf, like I've got a couple PlayStation 3 games here on the side, and like I've got like Atelier, Aisha, Eska and Laji, and Shally, which are all just a font on a white background. And then Tales of Symphonia Chronicles, Tales of Grace's F, and Star Ocean The Last Hope are logos. Hate that. I'm gonna get some brunch. Good night. Good night, Guru. Or good morning, afternoon. I'm probably gonna be wrapping up in a couple minutes anyway, so you have a good one, Guru. Bye. Yeah, or like, if you're a Switch collector, if you import a game from Europe or Japan, the logo's on a different part of the box, or on a different part of the spine, because in North America, it's always like, okay, let's say the game's laying down, the logo's left justified, but it's centered in the European versions. And then there's Super Bomberman R, which is like one of maybe like 5 or 6 Switch games that has the logo instead of the white on red. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. You guys have a wonderful night. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming and hanging out, playing some Final Fantasy V with me. I intended it to be mostly a short grinding stream, but it's almost been 4 hours and I did story stuff anyway, so of course I did. Good night, everybody. Bye. Game over, yeah!